We're talking to Co-Chairman Bill Waterson shortly after the conclusion of what's been an absolutely fantastic afternoon for everybody connected with the Altrincham Football Club here at York Street. The promotion final ending 1-0 to Alty. We're back in the National League. Bill, you've been in your current position for 5 minutes. This co-chairman lark's a piece of cake, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, shut down for COVID, huge budget overruns because of the testing regime, get promoted. Well, I'll take it, I'll take it. It's fantastic. And we fought really hard to get Phil and the lads a chance to have a go at winning this 1 in 6 lottery ticket chance. And they grabbed it with both hands. Chester, York and Boston, 3 scalps in 3 weeks. Absolutely fantastic performance from the lads. 2 clean sheets away from home. And here we are, we're back in the National League.
Yeah, it must be very gratifying. Obviously, there was a risk element to committing so much money to entering the players, but it was never in any doubt as far as the board are concerned about making that commitment, was it?
Oh, absolutely not. We couldn't not go in the playoffs. If we'd have not gone in the playoffs, that would have demonstrated a really clear lack of ambition on behalf of this club, and this club's got tons of ambition. This step back into the National League fits in with the strategic plan which was unveiled 3 years ago. And now we've got to kick on. We've got straight out the Evo stick, very close last season, up this season, back in the National League. We're kicking on to the next phase in the plan. We've got a lot of plans for what's going to happen with the club next season. We've got the academy launching with Neil Sorville running that, so that's a major statement from the club. We've got some ground improvements as the first part of the 10-year plan starting over the summer. We're focusing on the sponsors lounge and on a fan zone in the corner of the Golf Road and the Pop side. We'll be announcing more on that next week. We're looking at how we can improve or extend the training regime to have us in a better shape to face the National League. The work starts here. It's been an exhausting last few weeks, but we've got an exhausting couple of weeks ahead of us.
And is it another sign of the ambition of the board that having reached the final, and it is an arduous journey to Boston, you thought, right, we're going to give the lads the best possible chance. We'll foot the bill for an overnight so that they're fully prepared when kick-off arrives.
Absolutely. This was not the time to cut corners. If you've spent more than 50 grand, which we have on getting to this stage, you don't not spend a couple of grand to give everybody overnight. So it felt like the natural extension of what we could do. We'll prepare as much as possible. We'll give Phil everything he needs. We've done that. And he's repaid us, and more than repaid us, with the performance and the result today.
Well, I was going to say, didn't they just, because it almost showed another side to what this team have got to offer. We all know their pure footballing ability, but when they had to dig in, as they perhaps did today, they were able to do that and come up with the goods.
Yeah, I think it was an absolutely fantastic second half performance. We wrested the initiative back off them at half time. We began to control the play and dictate how the game was run in the second half. We were pushing them a lot higher up the pitch. We were creating chances, created more chances in the first 5 minutes of the second half than both sides had in the whole of the first half. But we were claiming the initiative. We took the initiative and we held it all the way through to the end. Comfortable in the end, not like Chester, more comfortable than that.
Now, some people in your position would be thinking pounds, shillings and pence during the course of a game like this, but you're also a fan, of course, of long-standing. So what was it like for you, the 90 minutes, watching it all unfold and emotions and everything else, Bill?
The major memory of York Street for me was the 1984-5 FA Trophy semi-final. 0-0 draw at Moss Lane. We came here, we went 2-0 down very quickly, but a player sent off unjustly, I thought. We fought back to 2-2, and then with the last kick of the game, Boston won it to go to Wembley to play Wealdstone. I actually went to Wembley to watch that Wealdstone-Boston final just so I could barrack the Boston players. But this repays that. This repays that more than anything. Here we are, we're back in the National League. Big challenges it gives us, but these are the challenges that we want.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just kick-off has been rather the final whistle was just a short while ago, so I think thoughts are just on celebrating this rather than looking too far forward. But is it safe to say that we'll be going into the National League not just to make up the numbers? I don't think that's something that ever enters Phil Parkinson's thinking, does it?
No, and the way we play football is substantially different to the way that a number of the National League sides play. So we bring something that the National League hasn't necessarily got. When you could argue, for example, that Chorley, who went up last season, were the same kind of team as most of the sides in the National League, but I think we bring our brand of football, and we're going to be entertaining, and we're going to make a difference, I think.
Sure. People will have different views of it's actually one of the great mysteries of the game in a way. What makes a good manager? What makes them tick? What are the qualities? I mean, people have looked at great managers down the years, and they've just been great. Actually, sort of capturing what it is that makes them great is a different matter. What do you think it is about Phil and Neil that clearly makes it work the way it does?
There's a combination of two things, and they bring their different personalities to bear perfectly, I think, in a perfect mix of great man management skills and man motivational skills, and at the same time deep football knowledge. And a love of the way the game is played. What they share in common is a love of the way the game is played, and that translates itself very, very well into the way that we play. And you look at the kind of players who've come here on loan and made a difference. They're the ones who understand that mentality, that mindset. You take, I was really, really pleased that James Jones, having moved on, has moved into the Football League, because that's exactly the kind of platform we want to be for young talent coming to the club and taking that step up. We saw the same with Owen Dale, came to the club on loan, took a step up into the Crewe first team. Hopefully Josh will be the same, and hopefully there's going to be a conveyor belt of people coming through this club and moving to greater things. But as we've seen by today's promotion, you can move to greater things by staying at the club as well. So now you take an example of Toby Malarkey, for example. He'll be a National League player next season.
These are obviously uncertain times, it goes without saying, Bill, and I know that we're hoping the new season will start at the beginning of October, with or without fans we're probably not quite sure about yet. Are we well equipped, do you think, to cope with whatever fate throws at us, if you like, in terms of how the new season will start?
So a couple of things. First of all, the league has said that we will not start behind closed doors. It really doesn't make sense at our level. We haven't got television money to fall back on. So therefore, if the start date of the 1st of October, which is now the government recommendation, goes back, so will the start of the season. And the season will have to be reconfigured to fit in with that new start date. And therefore, we know that when we start, we will start in front of fans. Our expectation is that there will be reduced capacity, a third or a quarter of our current capacity. Very pleased that our latest safety certificate puts the capacity of the ground at 7,700. So if we're allowed to start with a third capacity, that's 2,500. If we start with a quarter capacity, it's 1,800, 1,900. We can cope with those kind of crowds for all except the biggest games. So therefore, I'm optimistic that as long as there isn't a second wave of COVID, that we can start the season and accommodate our fans on the terraces in a socially distanced way that will allow us the very best opportunity to get the fans back behind the team again.
I mean, these are exciting times on and off the field for Altrincham, aren't they? In stark contrast to when Phil and Neil arrived. It's been up and up really since then, and there is so much to look forward to from an Altrincham perspective at the moment, isn't there, Bill?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I remember the first time I met Phil, I was blown away by just his enthusiasm for the game, his love of the game, and I thought he'd make a huge difference to this club. That has been an absolutely massive difference, with 2 promotions in 3 years, back in the National League. Now he's at a level where I think we can see him getting ready to kick on to the next stage with Altrincham. We've still got him under contract, him and Neil under contract for another couple of years. And we think they're going to do great things for us. Really hopeful.
And just back to today, have you ventured into the changing room, or are you a bit worried about getting thrown in the bath?
Well, I didn't go in there because of red zone, yellow zone segregation. I was amber zone, and therefore, mature and responsible social distancing meant that I couldn't. But once the guys left the dressing room and walked across the car park, then they got a hug, each and every one of them, from me for their performance over the last 3 weeks, over the whole of this season, and for many of them over the last 3 seasons. Actually, they've been a fundamental part of the history of this club and turning it around.
I'm sure you made their day, Bill, and thanks for speaking to us. That's Co-Chairman Bill Waterson, reflecting on what's been a fantastic afternoon here for Altrincham, promotion to the Vanarama National League.
Thank you very much.